Hey everyone, and welcome to this special commemorative explainer. Today, we're celebrating a truly extraordinary healthcare revolution, one that's been quietly but powerfully unfolding in a small Catalan town over the last 25 years, from 2001 all the way to 2026. Let's just dive right into this, because what this team has built goes so far beyond what we typically think of as standard medical care.
It's kind of a provocative thought, right? Isn't it? Look, we all know we're facing this modern epidemic of loneliness and chronic stress. And traditionally, the medical system just waits for you to break and then, hands you a prescription pad. But what if the ultimate cure for our modern ailments is actually human connection?
Let's start with Section 1, the origins. Looking back to 2001, igniting the spark.
To really understand how you even go about prescribing connection, we have to go back to the beginning. It was 2001 when a dedicated team in the Osonana region decided that the standard status quo just wasn't working anymore. Think about large traditional healthcare systems. They act like these massive, sluggish ships. They're highly bureaucratic, centralized, and purely reactive. But the team at Centelles, they operate under an EBA model, an Entidad de Base Asociativa. Basically, this means the healthcare professionals themselves manage the center. They have the total autonomy to control their budget, hire their own staff, and make lightning-fast decisions based on the actual reality of their waiting rooms. That agility was the exact spark they needed to start innovating.
And honestly, they needed that agility on day one because their environment was an incredibly complex demographic puzzle. They had to provide equitable care to over 13,000 residents spread across three vastly different realities. You've got Centelles, which is a dense urban hub with lots of commercial activity. Then Baleña, a sort of semi-urban transition area. And finally, San Martí de Centelles, a highly dispersed rural area with a really serious risk of population isolation. Treating all these different folks with a rigid one-size-fits-all approach? Yeah, that was never going to fly here.
Moving on to Section 2, the Salutogenic Shift, building a stronger ship.
So how did they adapt to this challenge? Well, they made this profound philosophical pivot that completely redefined their approach to public health. They transitioned from pathogenesis to salutogenesis. To put that in simpler terms, the old model's basically like a sailor desperately patching holes in a sinking ship, right? You're just reacting to disease. Salutogenesis, on the other hand, is about building a stronger ship from the very start. Instead of just asking, hey, what's making our patients sick, the team at Centelles started asking, what makes our community healthy? They completely shifted their focus to proactively identifying and tapping into local community assets to generate well-being.
But how do you actually prescribe a community in the real world? Well, you need a solid system. So they developed this rigorous 9-step social prescription method. First, they mapped out every single local resource, local choirs, walking groups, town libraries. Then, they trained the staff. But the real game changer here is step number 4, recording this in the patient's official electronic clinical history, the ECEP. By logging someone's participation in a grief group or a reading club exactly the same way they would log a prescription for ibuprofen, they've validated social connection as a measurable, literal medical act.
To make this holistic vision a reality, they had to break the mold of the traditional doctor-nurse dynamic. They brought in specialized cross-functional roles. For instance, they integrated an emotional well-being reference, the RBEC, to tackle psychosocial stress right at its root. They added a nutritionist, a physiotherapist, and an occupational therapist. They basically assembled a dream team designed not just to treat isolated symptoms, but to treat the entire biopsychosocial person.
Let's look at Section 3, Milestones of Community Health, 25 years of triumphs.
Over the course of 25 years, this machinery has produced some absolutely incredible results. Even before those highly structured protocols were officially in place, the seeds were being planted through early collaborative efforts like the Cursa Solidaria Sahara. This was a solidarity run initiated over a decade ago that really laid their cultural foundation. Get this, participants actually pay their registration fee using iMedicine, which is then donated. It taught the entire town that health isn't just about your personal fitness, it's about collective well-being and supporting each other.
Once that culture was set, they started tackling really complex clinical challenges. Take chronic non-oncological pain, for example, which is notoriously difficult to treat. Enter the Encorajat program. Instead of passively prescribing addictive opioids, they prescribed a highly active interdisciplinary circuit. Patients do aquatic physical therapy, they relearn nutrition, and they attend FES workshops, which stands for Strength, Emotion, and Health, to manage the cognitive anxiety that comes with chronic pain. And the results? A staggering 100% of participants recommended it. They literally turned pain into empowerment.
They've also developed some brilliant ways to tackle modern societal issues with programs like Perales Digitales or digital pairs.
We all know the tech divide can be incredibly isolating for the elderly, so the clinic partnered up with local high schools. Teenagers are paired with seniors to teach them how to use WhatsApp, make video calls, and access digital health apps. It's a total win-win. The seniors gain independence and combat isolation, while the youth mentors gain empathy, a real sense of purpose, and a break from their own digital anxieties. It's just a masterpiece of intergenerational preventative medicine.
But honestly, perhaps nothing captures their spirit quite like the Marathon de Sang, the blood marathon. Historically, donating blood is kind of a cold, clinical, and slightly intimidating duty, right? Well, Centelles completely shattered that mold. They turned it into a massive 10-hour festival right in the middle of the town square. They even had local high school students design the promotional posters featuring this beautiful slogan, "A few minutes for you, a life for someone else." And it was a full-on party. They brought in live music, local theater groups, dancing. I mean, the seniors were literally dancing in the square without missing a beat. And the impact was undeniable. 249 joyful people gathered in this festive environment, and the direct medical result was 747 patients across Catalonia receiving life-saving blood. They proved that clinical duties can be transformed into vibrant celebrations of local pride. Absolutely incredible.
Today, their footprint touches literally every corner of the community. They are deeply involved in educational programs like Valorete Emozionate, which tackles rising youth anxiety by teaching emotional management and resilience right inside the schools. The healthcare center isn't just some isolated building on the edge of town anymore. It acts as the true circulatory system of the entire community.
Which brings us to our final section, Section 4, the cure for loneliness, the ultimate elixir. Beneath all these amazing programs and all these statistics lies a single profound objective, defeating the silent epidemic of our time, which is isolation. And true to their EV DNA, they never stop innovating. Looking to the future, they're pioneering a project called Retorn al Territorio. They are using disruptive technologies like virtual reality and artificial intelligence, but not to isolate people further. Instead, they use it to reconnect them. They provide vulnerable homebound seniors with VR headsets so they can virtually walk through their town square again, revisit their heritage, and stimulate their memory. They are using the absolute cutting edge of tech to forge deep psychosocial connections.
Over the past 25 years, CAP EBA Centelles has proven a fundamental truth. A healthy society isn't measured solely by the absence of disease. It's measured by the presence of a strong, supportive network. They've shown that horizontal, deeply woven community ties are preventative medicine in its purest, most potent form.
So, I want to leave you with this thought. We've just seen how one town totally transformed a standard medical system into an engine for joy, empathy, and solidarity. If they can literally prescribe community to heal isolation and pain, what's stopping us from doing the exact same thing? How can you start prescribing connection in your own life, right now, in your own neighborhood? Think about it. Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer, and I'll catch you on the next one.